Right now, inside your mind, there isn't just one version of you making decisions. There are multiple systems, some ancient, some highly evolved, constantly competing for control. And layered on top of that, your brain is operating on a frequency that determines how all of these systems behave. So the real question isn't just how do I think better, it's which part of my brain is active and what state is it operating in. And by the end of this episode, you'll understand both. So the first part is the amygdala, your survival system. You're about to take a risk, speak up, or put yourself out there, and suddenly your body reacts before you even think. That's your amygdala. It's fast, emotional, protective. It scans for threats and triggers fear instantly. The problem is that it treats modern discomfort like ancient danger. Rejection is threat, embarrassment is also threat, and uncertainty is, again, threat. It doesn't care about growth, it cares about safety. And here's the key insight. You don't eliminate fear, you train it. Exposure rewires the response. And next is the prefrontal cortex, the higher self. And this is the part of you that thinks long term. It says do the hard thing, stay disciplined. This will matter later. Your prefrontal cortex is your decision maker, your strategist, your future self. But under pressure it weakens. And when it weakens, the amygdala takes over. So discipline isn't personality, it's capacity. And you build it through use. And then there's the basal ganglia, the habit machine. Most of your life isn't decided in the moment. It's already been decided by your habits. That's your basal ganglia. It automates behavior through loops. Cue, action, reward. Once something is wired here, it becomes effortless. This is where your life is really built. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. And then we have the hippocampus, your identity builder. Your brain doesn't just store memories, it builds you. The hippocampus links experiences into narrative. This is who I am. So if you constantly replay failure, doubt, or limitation, you reinforce that identity. But if you reframe your past, visualize your future, reinforce new experiences, you can reshape it. Identity is not fixed, it's constructed. And then we have the anterior cingulate cortex, the internal conflict. That uncomfortable feeling when you're not doing what you should do. That's the anterior cingulate cortex at work. It detects the gap between your actions and your standards. Most people escape it, but it's actually guidance. There's a gap, so close it. It's what it's telling you. And then we have the pineal gland, the state controller. Your pineal gland regulates your sleep and circadian rhythm, and it affects everything, your focus, your emotion, decision making. And if your rhythm is off, your brain is off. You're not just tired, you're operating in the wrong state. And then we have the hypothalamus, your stability system. This is your internal regulator. It controls your hunger, your stress, hormones, balance. If this is dysregulated, everything feels harder. Not because you lack discipline, but because your system lacks stability. And we can also split the brain in a different way, can't we? Left versus right brain. Left is logic, structure, language. Right is intuition, patterns, creativity. But the real power isn't choosing one, it's combining both. Structure plus intuition is high-level thinking. There is a voice in your head, isn't there? The internal dialogue. It's active when you're not focused. And it can either trap you in overthinking or unlock creativity and insight. The difference is just control and direction. And then we look at states, the frequency you're operating on. And here's where everything changes. All of these systems don't operate the same way all the time. They're influenced by your brainwave state. Same brain, different frequency. completely different behaviour. So first is gamma waves, peak performance. The state of mind here is heightened perception, deep insight, flow state. And it occurs when we have intense focus, high-level learning, complex problem solving. This is when everything clicks, different parts of your brain communicate at once, and this is what they refer to as the zone. And how do we access this? Well, it's deep work on meaningful tasks, mastery of a skill, intense focus, and calm control. And then we have beta waves, everyday consciousness. This is alert, focused thinking. And it occurs when we're working, when we're talking, when we're solving problems. This is your normal waking state. But here's the catch. High beta is stress, anxiety, and overthinking. And this is where the amygdala dominates. The goal here is to use beta but don't get stuck in high beta. And then we have alpha waves. This is calm control. This is relaxed, clear, present. And it occurs with like meditation or walking or calm focus. This is where your prefrontal cortex works best. You're not stressed, you're not distracted, you're in control. How do we enter alpha? Well, slow breathing is one, reducing stimulation is another, and mindfulness is the other. And then we have theta waves, reprogramming and creativity. This is deep relaxation, imagination, and subconscious access. When does this occur? Well, just before sleep. Deep meditation again and dreaming. This is where your subconscious becomes accessible. Habits, beliefs, identity. This is where they can change fastest. So how do we use it? Well, visualization before sleep, reframing memories, and repeating thoughts in a relaxed state. And then we have delta waves, deep recovery. This is unconscious, deep sleep. So when does this occur? Well, it's deep, dreamless sleep. This is where your body heals, your brain resets, your system recovers. If this is compromised, everything else suffers. This is the foundation of performance. So here's the real shift, combining system and state. And here's the truth most people miss. They try to change their thoughts without changing their state. But the state determines which brain system activates, how you feel, how you act. So in high beta, the amygdala dominates. In alpha, prefrontal cortex leads. In theta, identity can change. In delta, you recover. And in gamma, you perform at your peak. So most people are stuck in one state, reacting through one part of their brain. But the real power is this. You can shift both. You can recognize this is fear, this is habit, this is emotion. And then ask, what state am I in right now? Because the moment you change that, you don't just think differently. You become someone different in that moment. And if you like this episode, please don't forget to follow, like, comment and subscribe. And just a quick shout out to our sponsors. Strong Coffee Company, protein-packed coffee for energy and clarity. Use code Vancrux1 for 20% off at strongcoffeecompany.com. And then there's More Labs, clinically proven hydration and recovery drinks. Use code Vancrux1 for 25% off at morelabs.com. And finally, liquor gummies, electrolytes and vitamins for hangover prevention. Use code Vancrux1 for 20% off at liquor.com. That's liquure.com.